Hey, Mitch.
What's up, Keith?
How's it going today?
I'm amped.
I'm psyched, man.
That's good.
I'm super psyched. So today, we are going to talk about the book of Jonah.
Yeah, we are.
And we planned this. Start the sands of time. We planned this as a two episode. I don't know. It's two parts. So we're just gonna this is gonna abruptly end, and then we'll have another part next week.
All right.
Okay. So, and I was actually really excited for this because it's been, forever since I read Jonah. Like forever. When's the last time you read it? Other than to prepare for this podcast.
Well, a couple months ago, we did Dustin did a youth Bible study at McDonald's, and we did the book of Jonah.
Okay. Before that.
So I wish I had Dustin here.
Yeah. Where's Dustin at?
Man, because that guy
knows some Jonah. So, very, very short book. So if anybody out there really wants to dig into it, it's great. There's only four
chapters. But they're like big paragraphs.
Yeah, it's like 1 page or 2 pages.
Hey,
right?
first part of the podcast, we could just read Jonah to you.
We could, but we won't.
Okay.
We won't. So the general story is you've got a guy named Jonah who gets visited by God and is told...
Gets a message.
Gets a message from God and gets told to go to a great city, Nineveh. That's what I said, Nineveh. Not going to say that one right. And kind of preach to the city that, it's doing a bunch of really bad things, right? So big city, they're not doing, they're displeased. Yeah. The Lord is displeased with them.
Hey, I'm going to need you to go to a big, city. Thriving, happening, sinful metropolis.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Keith, I'm going to need you to go do this, and I'm going to need you to go tell them
they're doing it all wrong.
They're doing it all wrong.
Well, not only that, I think there's some
tell them they're wicked
historical context to it too, and I can't really remember much, but weren't they at war at some point too? The Hebrew people and the town, there was like a disagreement or they're really not friends.
Not friends anyway.
They're not friends anyway. It's not like the town next door. It's not like if we went to,
but
Liberty.
Maybe it is like the town next door.
Oh, could be. But we weren't really ever at war with the town next door.
Wow.
Maybe like sports, like high school.
No, but we have like allies, right? Like I go to the Excelsior Springs Walmart.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really go to Walmart. Anyway, so he gets told to go to this city that's not friendly, and to tell them they're doing it all wrong. So
wonder if that's where the prodigal son went. Straight to Nineveh.
Yeah, probably.
Give me my cash.
Probably.
I'm going to Nineveh,
baby.
Woo! What are you doing with all? His dad's like, "What are you doing with all this cash? Going to Nineveh? I'm putting it on black."
Yeah,
rolls.
So that makes that. Sorry, I was backtracking to my high school sports team analogy. Did you in your high school? Did you have a rival team?
Oh yeah.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Now here's the unique question.
I won't name them.
Shouldn't name them.
They won't be named.
They won't be named. But I feel like there's a but at that.
But they had a color combination.
Oh, that was same.
No, it still turns my stomach to this day. It's
really?
It's like two colors I can't put together in a wardrobe.
Wow.
And they're complementary colors. They work together. Like as far as art school and the color wheel goes, they're fine.
Like purple and blue or something.
They're great, right?
Sure.
Wonderfully, it's great.
What are the colors? You can't tell me even the colors?
Well, I could, but maybe this color combination is so endearing to someone who came from a school and that was their school colors, but okay, let me ask you. My kids will wear it. They'll just pull.
Will they wear the color combination?
Yeah, and they'll be
Do you not like them for the day? You're like, go to your room.
Go change.
Okay, so
your shorts or your shirt. Don't care which one. Just change.
Here's the other question. Okay, the reverse. Were they were your rival, but were you their rival? Because in my high school, we had this really weird dynamic where we really disliked this one team, but
they were so good. They were indifferent. They
really disliked this other team, and this other team disliked us. It was like a triangle. Yeah, because we disliked them because they beat us in a playoff, and then they disliked this other team because they beat them in a playoff. And like, it was like one of those things where it was like they didn't really not like us because we never really did anything bad to them, right? They never really lost to us very often, right? So yeah, we had this really weird triangle.
It's like that MC Usher triangle.
Yeah. Until the high school split and we had 2 high schools in the same town, then we just disliked the other high school in town.
Oh.
So that was okay. But anyway, so so like did you have rival sports team, did you have a rival person growing up in your life? Like a neighbor, like a true rival? Tough one, huh?
No, I think it was very similar to what you just described too, right?
Yeah.
Like, ooh, that guy. And then he was just like, yeah, that's a cute little fellow over here. He like poses no threat. I'm
right.
Like, maybe it was like that.
Yeah. We had a next door neighbor who we were friends with, and I really forget. I think I know what happened, but I don't want to mix my memory from like 40 years ago, right? But we had it was 3 of us that were friends, and like the 2 friends kind of like cut me out of the friendship, and it was because of that one friend. So like I really disliked him, and he was like my next door neighbor. And so for years and years, it was just this like back and forth, on the school bus and, all that kind of stuff. Just mainly talking. Well, this is terrible, but they moved out. So they sold their house and they moved out. And the day that they were moving, the parents were like loading up like a U-Haul with all their stuff. My brother and I got into the garden that we had and made mud balls, like a snowball, and just pelted the absolute Jesus out of them. I know. And then we fought back and forth, right? Then like he picked up some mud and threw it at us.
You had clod fights?
We had clod fights. But they had to go on this like 2-day journey to where I forget where they were going. So he just like climbed up in the U-Haul, dirty, like, and my brother and I just hosed off in the backyard. So
Jonah.
So Jonah does
right,
what any God-fearing man would do in this
Todd
situation.
Says, go here. He says, nope.
He says,
well, he doesn't say nope.
He just runs.
Runs the other direction.
I just want to know the logic.
As far away from Nineveh as he can go.
Right. I just want to know the logic on that, right? Like, if you got a message from God, don't you think that God's going to find you wherever you go?
Jonah went away in the opposite direction to listen to this logic to get away from the Lord.
just insane, man. So he runs.
Found a ship, bought a ticket, hopped aboard.
Probably didn't even care where it was going, as long as it was the other way.
Opposite direction.
Yeah. Could you imagine, like, what would it take in your life, okay, for you to just want to pack up and go? Like, not even like U-Haul, but just, I just got this vision that he just like grabbed a few things, toothbrush, toothpaste, changed clothes, threw it in a bag, and ran. What would it take for that to happen? Like, I can't think of anything, right? Just to like, so obviously he, do you think he was more scared?
Well, I think
of the situation and being like,
hey, I want to, so here's a hot take for you. I think in our lives, we are actually less active and responsive to God's call in our lives Jonah at least responded. I think even worse than Jonah's response is ignoring it altogether. Right?
Yeah, but there's a huge difference between,
because Jonah could have just been like, I don't think that's what I don't know. No, that's not what I heard. I'm just gonna stay here. He could have just stayed put and just been obstinate.
I mean,
instead he's like so freaked.
Look at the response of Jonah versus the response of Paul.
Jonah heard directly from God because it freaked him out so much.
But the same thing happened with Paul.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, like, look at the two reactions and the wildly opposite, response to it. Like, Paul,
was physically afflicted.
Physically afflicted, but, like, then, went where he was supposed to and waited, right? Like, versus Jonah, like, nope, I'm out of here. That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's wild different.
Jonah came before. Maybe, I was like, well, look, Jonah just ran off. Maybe I'll make Paul go blind for a while.
So he just can't run off. God learned his lesson.
All right, so he gets on a boat. He's going the wrong direction.
He's going the wrong direction.
He's running away. He's
sailing away.
I'm not singing. Do not.
No, I can't. It's gonna go on. It's gonna go on the internet. We'd get canceled or something because it would pick.
All right, good.
Although my singing's not that great. So
no, I think it would be well. I think mine would come off like a cartoon character covering sticks.
He's sailing away on a boat. He's down in the hole, right? Snoozing.
Boom! The Lord hurls a powerful wind over the sea, causing a violent storm, threatened to break up the ship. Fearing for their lives, the desperate sailors shouted to their gods, lowercase g, for help, and threw the cargo overboard to lighten up the ship.
What I thought was interesting too is that I read, and I want to make sure that I got it right.
Jonah sound asleep.
All the sailors were afraid, and each cried out to his own God. So there's multiple there's multiple different religions.
Because they're sailors.
Right? So it's like they're not, it's not just like everybody's praying to this one other God, right? They're all just like, they got 20 different gods on this boat, right? And they're all just like, you pray and you pray and you pray. Like they're Oprah there, right? Like everybody just pray and hopefully somebody's God will listen.
Yep. And Jonah is fast asleep.
Fast asleep. Reminds you of somebody.
Yeah. But also, you want to give him a little benefit of the doubt, like maybe he's just exhausted.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It's like he's running. Maybe he hasn't slept in a little while.
But emotionally
falls asleep.
Physically just exhausted.
Well, there's some people that can just sleep through anything.
That's true too.
So, I mean, generally I can sleep through all kinds of, actually, this is kind of funny. My wife will say that I'll sleep through, I'll snore, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll sleep like one direction or whatever that causes me to snore more often.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so she tries to get me to roll over to my other side where I don't snore. Well, she will hit me, kick me, punch me, yell at me, anything, and I'll not react. Sometimes I'll even talk to her. I don't remember any of this. But she's learned all that she has to do is just in a very low tone, just go, Keith, what was that? And I'm up. I'm like, whoa, what? And then she'll most of the time she'll pretend like she's asleep. Like I just heard. And then I'll roll over and go to sleep. Right. So I can sleep through anything crazy. But it's like that little
it's subconsciously.
So you hear little feet on the floor, and you're like, "Oh, kid's awake." I'm awake, right? So it's that little stuff that I hear more than not.
So now the captain, right? They're trying everything they can.
Yeah, throwing cargo off, right, to lighten the load, to try to make the ship. They're praying, they're throwing,
and the captain's
out.
like, "Where's that other guy?
Isn't there a dude asleep?
Wasn't there a guy?" So the captain's like, "I'm going down to the bottom of the ship, gonna get this guy," and he yells at him.
He tells him, "Get up!
How can you sleep at a time like this? Get up, pray to your God. Maybe he will pay attention to us and spare our lives."
Yeah.
So you got a whole crew.
Do you really think he wants to pray? Do you think Jonah right now at this moment
he's like, we're not talking.
I'm trying to actually not talk to my God at the moment.
Yeah. So we're not talking right now, and
we're kind of in a relationship fight. That's why I'm on the boat to begin with.
That's kind of why I'm here. Remember when I bought the ticket that I paid full price for on Safe Passage? Remember Safe Passage to Tarsus? I'm gonna need a refund, and B, I'm not doing that.
So obviously, the story doesn't say that Jonah does pray, because obviously he probably won't, right? So then this is what gets me about this. Okay. So then the sailors all get together and they're like, let's like draw straws.
Yeah.
To see who's responsible for this calamity.
Obviously, one of us is ridiculously unlucky.
Yeah. And so, like, obviously, whoever gets the shortest straw
is the unlucky
and then it's caused all this.
Of course.
Right?
Just natural.
Which
natural conclusion
makes no sense to me whatsoever. But I mean, I guess at the minimum, most of them probably believe that their God wanted to sacrifice, right? So like maybe at the end of the day, they're like, well, maybe you're not responsible, but you're going to cure this thing.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And
we're not sure who we're sacrificing to, but as long as we sacrifice somebody.
Right.
Okay. All right. I'm with you.
So, Jonah at this point kind of, to be honest, fesses up a little bit. Right. And is like, this is guys, you don't need to do that. This is probably my fault.
No, they drew the lots.
Well, I know,
old Jonah got the short straw. And he's again.
He kind of fesses up, right? Yeah. Like at this point, and he's like, yeah, it's kind of my fault, right?
I am a Hebrew. I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the land. The sailors were terrified when they heard this, for he had already told them he was running away from the Lord.
Yep, my bad, guys.
I'm like, well, what? Why would you do that? That's exactly what they said. Like, why would you do that? Which I think's gotta seem pretty ridiculous to Jonah at the time, because they're probably, the other gods that they're worshiping at the time, right? Like, weren't necessarily the omnipotent, sovereign power of the Hebrew God, right? Like there was this divided up, wasn't monotheistic. So these other sailors, they're like, why? Like Jonah's describing his God, our God, the Hebrew God, the omnipotent, all-powerful, sovereign,
made everything
God of everything. And they're like, whoa, we don't got one of those. Like,
we ain't got
wait
that.
a minute.
I got a God of fire.
Yeah, like that wasn't working. And then the God of iron nails wasn't hanging with us to hold the ship together. And I'm just making up little gods that they were, trying to figure this out. And he's like, yeah, so my God, the sovereign God, the God of all creation, the God of heaven and earth, the God of the wind and the sea, the God of all of that. Yeah, I'm running away from him. And they're like, why would you do that? And why would you corroborate us in this? So they want to chuck him overboard.
Jonah's job is to represent God in Nineveh. How's he doing so far?
Well, he's doing pretty good on a ship in the sea, bobbing around. Like he's he did deliver a pretty evangelistic message here, but now we got some believers.
Right? Right.
And they say, what should we do to stop this storm? What are we supposed to do with you?
Yeah. So Jonah is basically like, throw me overboard.
Just throw me overboard.
Just toss it.
I don't want to go to Nineveh. Chuck me.
This is how bad he doesn't want to do this.
Yeah.
He'd rather just be chucked into the sea where this ship, this cargo ship, is about to go down. He'd rather just be chucked out there to obviously die than to go and do this task. Right? Insane. So they do. They toss him. They just heave him overboard. And immediately...
Hold on. Well,
I'm not reading it word for word.
I know, but hold on.
This is from memory, dude.
I know, but I think I think there's so many layers to this story. I think
is it like an onion?
Onion. There's no G in it.
Onion.
I've worked very hard to get the G out of onion.
Onion.
I've worked very hard to articulate the lack of a G and go to an N. O to an N. Onion.
Onion.
No. Onion.
Do you like yellow onions or
Keith,
white onions?
Just try to say it right once. Just
I can't.
for the people.
I physically can't.
O-N. On. Like
onion.
Onion.
You want an onion?
Good job.
You want an onion? So onions. Yellow?
You did it again.
Yellow Vidalia?
Yes.
Is that your favorite?
Yes.
You like a little sweet onion?
Always.
Okay.
So,
I like a nice red onion.
I do as well.
Especially on a taco.
It has a different. Well, that's pickled.
No, I mean I like straight red onion.
Pickle it. Quick pickled, so it's still got the crisp.
Yeah,
got the crisp.
Yeah.
So I just took a red onion and made it sweet, like a,
Yeah.
I just quick pickled it.
You took the beautiful thing of a red onion, and you undid that beautiful thing and made it a yellow one.
No,
just red.
I also like raw red onion in my guacamole.
Oh yeah, definitely in guacamole.
I like its.
Or salsa too. Although
yes.
white's better, obviously. But
no, but I like a little bit of both.
Yeah,
I like a little bit of both.
That.
So then, this story has layers because now these sailors, they're like, "What are we gonna do? Why would you do such a thing?" And he's like, "Just throw me overboard." And these guys are like, "Why? No, we're not going to do that," which is pretty crazy, right? So they're going to, what's it say? Instead of just being like, "Okay, guy says chuck him."
No, I mean they didn't want to be responsible for killing somebody.
They were going to chuck anybody that drew the short straw.
Now they were scared of his God.
Yeah. So then
they weren't scared of their God.
Yeah. Fascinating. These are the layers. These are the layers I'm talking about. So instead, the sailors rowed even harder to get the ship to the land. But the stormy sea was too violent for them.
They started paddling.
Paddling like crazy.
You envision like the Vikings?
Oh, yeah. No,
or do you think everybody just had a paddle and they were on the side?
No, I think they're down they were down in it, and they had the paddles going out the holes in the side.
Yeah, like the Vikings.
Yeah, and the coxswain's like, row,
hey,
ho, like yeah.
Oh man, we should have really done some research on what a ship would look like back then. Anyway.
Hey, any
historians are like, no,
any
not accurate.
Any theological, clerical, Bible historians listening, please click the link below and submit a picture of what the ship.
No, there's no link below.
Oh, there's no link. Sorry.
That's not how the internet works.
It's not how the internet works. I'm learning these things. Actually, I don't even think this cord's connected to anything.
I hope so.
Well, we think we're recording.
So, they end up chucking him overboard.
Nope.
Yeah.
Getting there.
Come on.
So they couldn't make it. They couldn't make it to land. Then the sailors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Cried out to the Lord, Jonah's God. Boom. There's a layer you almost missed. And they pleaded, don't make us die for this man's sin, and don't hold us responsible for his death. Huh? So they didn't want to chuck him because they didn't want to make God mad. But they also didn't want to die because God was mad at Jonah. And they said, "O Lord, you have sent this storm upon him for your own good reasons." Then the sailors picked Jonah up and threw him into the raging sea, and the storm stopped at once. The sailors were awestruck by the Lord's great power, and they offered him a sacrifice and vowed to serve him. So,
your version's different than mine.
Well, I think I got the NLT here.
I mean, it literally doesn't say any of that.
Really?
I feel like
What version
you made
are you
it up. NIV.
Huh.
Mine says, they took Jonah and threw him overboard, and the raging sea grew calm. At this, the men greatly feared the Lord, and they offered a sacrifice to the Lord and made vows to him.
I feel like that's what I just said.
No, it's like completely different. Read yours again.
Okay.
This is an interesting.
This is fantastic. I'm in the NLT.
Okay.
All right. New Living Translation.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And you're
come on.
Right. Sorry. All right. Lord's Oh Lord, they pleaded, don't make us die for this man's sin, and don't hold us responsible for his death. O Lord, you have sent this storm upon him for your own good reasons. Then the sailors picked up Jonah, threw him into the raging sea, and the storm stopped at once. The sailors were awestruck by the Lord's great power, and they offered him a sacrifice and vowed to serve him.
It's a little different, which I find interesting.
All right, why don't you start on verse 14?
14. Then they cried out to the Lord, "Please, Lord, do not let us die for taking this man's life. Do not hold us accountable for killing an innocent man, for you." We'll start again.
All right, go with verse 14.
Then they cried out to the Lord, "Please, Lord, do not let us die for taking this man's life. Do not hold us accountable for killing an innocent man, for you, Lord, have done as you pleased."
Okay. Continue.
Okay. Then they took Jonah and threw him overboard, and the raging sea grew calm.
Yep.
At this, the men greatly feared the Lord, and they offered a sacrifice to the Lord and made vows to him.
Yeah. Pretty similar.
It's pretty similar.
I just
find it interesting because yours almost goes into more detail about grabbing Jonah and throwing him overboard, and then like read it again. Read verse
15. Then the sailors picked Jonah up and threw him into the raging sea. What do you have?
Then they took Jonah and threw him overboard.
Okay.
It was think of the difference of and then mine says, and the raging sea grew calm.
And then mine says the storm stopped at once.
Yeah, it's interesting that they changed they threw him into the raging sea grew calm. Anyways, I just find that interesting.